Hello everyone, my name is Apurva and welcome to day 2 of holiday planning in PowerApps. If you haven't already, please go and watch part 1 of this series. The link is in the description. Here is a small recap of what we have covered so far. So we are tasked with creating a calendar along with a list of employees with some additional features like indicating when they are absent and the reason for their absence and so on. For this we needed a database, so we went to SharePoint and have created three different lists. One is the employee list, one is the holiday calendar where you have all the public holidays, maybe some corporate events and on. And then finally we have a leave request list which will indicate the leave requests that have come in with the status and everything. Now that we have created our list, let's connect to SharePoint and add this data in our Power Apps. Now that we have connected to this list, we are going to store this data by creating a collection. So on app on start, we are going to create three collections for employees, for holiday calendar, and lastly for leave request. Now, if you remember, we did not add any data for the leave request list. So I'm going to create a form for leave request so employees can add in their or submit their leaves from the app itself. Once we add in the form, Power Apps will by default add some fields that we might not require. So let's remove those fields. For us, we only require employee name, start date, end date, leave type, and any comments. And then finally, we need a button to submit our leave request information back to the database. Also, don't forget the default mode of this form will be new because we are adding new records every time. This is not a display form, so we need to change the default mode. And then finally on the submit button, we'll use submit form function. We'll add in the employee details, start date, end date, leave type and comments. Here I've selected the employee from the drop down and I've submitted the information. In the backend, you can see the information is visible. Now once you have submitted the form, this is how it will look. For this, we need to reset the form after every submit. So once you submit the form will be reset. That means it will be ready for the second record or second entry that you might need to do. Also, there is one issue that I see here, that every time the employee comes in here, they have to look for their name and then select that name, right? And that's one thing that no one is changing every day. So why not have that fixated? Like we can have the employee name to the person who is logged in. Now in the real world, how you would achieve that is you would have an employee list with the email IDs, right? So with the email ID, you will match the person who is logged in to the email ID that is in your database and then find the correct person. Now for me, I have created an imaginary employee list, so I will have to impersonate someone to have that default value selected. So let's impersonate Pam, and for that we will change the default selected items. Okay, so now we have Pam selected by default, but we can still access the drop down and then deselect her and select someone else. So for any employee to do that, we are going to change this drop down from edit mode to view only mode. That way the employee won't be able to change any other and select any other employee. And then finally we can resume doing the entry as we were doing before. Select all the fields, add in all the details and then hit submit. Now this will be our user screen, and by default whenever we submit the leave request, we will have the status of this leave request as pending. Now it will be to the manager to decide whether they want to approve it or reject it. And for that, we also need to create another screen for the approver. First, we will require a gallery so that we can see all the leave requests that have been submitted in a list form, and then we can change the status to whatever, whether we want to approve it, reject it, depending upon the leave request. So let's connect this gallery to the leave request so we can see all the leave requests that came in. Now in this gallery, we'll add additional details that we need. Like I want to see the employee name, start date, end date, why they are requesting the leave type, or any comments, right? So let's put that all in a label. And then at the end, we need a drop down to show the status of this leave request. So by default, if someone has just submitted a leave request, the status will be pending, and then the manager or approver can change the status. Once you get all the options that are in your list, then by default, like in the default selected options, we'll get the status of this particular item. Oops, I just realized that I've added this drop down outside the gallery and not inside of it. So let me fix that and then change what is the default value that we'll see. Now that finally we see all the items, now we need a submit button, and with this submit button, we'll either accept or reject the leave request. For changing the status of the leave request, we'll use patch function. So patch function requires, first it requires the data source that you are updating. Second, it requires the record that you are trying to update. So for us, it will be the record that we are selecting in the gallery at that time. And then lastly, what exactly are you updating? So we also need to write, okay, we are updating the status, and the status would be whatever we have selected in the drop down. So make sure you correctly name your components accordingly. So I have gallery 1, maybe your gallery is called something else, so you can update that accordingly. Let me show you what this gallery.selected.id is gonna bring us. So I've added a label to show what is in that particular selected.id. So as I shuffle between the records, you can see the ID is also changing. So if I select any record in the gallery and then change the status in the drop down and then hit the submit button, it's gonna register I changed the status for that particular ID in the gallery. So let's try it out. So now for Angela, our status should be approved. As we can see here, it is also updated in the database. Now that we are able to achieve this, we also need to add one more detail. Do you see at the last we have one more column which is called as approver, and according to our list, the employee list, we have Michael and Ryan both as the admin users or approvers, if you may. So I need to understand, or there should be a way for us to update the approver name as well. So every time there are any leave requests that gets approved, rejected, whatever, then we also have a way to track back who approved it or rejected that particular leave request. So let's add that formula as well. In the regular scenario, like if you are building this, you would use this user dot email formula, so that whoever is the user who is logged in, they are the one that you need to set as approver. But right now, since the employee list is imaginary, everything is imaginary, I'm impersonating other people, I'm going to add by default, like I'm going to add Michael or Ryan through the formula. So SharePoint list saves data in a particular format. It requires certain parameters to be submitted for it to accept that data. And you can see, like for example, we need claims, we need display name, email, and all these values that you see on the screen. So we need to add that properly. If you're not doing, like if you're not impersonating any other person, just like I am trying to do here, you will simply use the email ID of the person who is logged in. So your manager, whoever is that person, whoever is the approver, that email ID will get captured and that will be the approver. You can see I have taken the ID as 1, and that's the ID of Michael Scott. So I'm impersonating him. So whatever status I change here, let's try this. Once I change the status, now my name is also visible, so we know who approved it. So now finally we have two things fully complete. One is the user screen, where the user can come in, the employee can come in, apply for the leave request, add in the details, their reason for the leave type that they want. You can add as many fields as you like. And then we also have the manager or approver screen, where the manager or approver can come in, view all the list that they have, list of all the leave requests that is there, and then approve it, reject it, whatever. You can add as many things as you would like here. Like if you want to display more fields, do that. In the next episode, however, we are going to work on the main screen, which is the highlight of this whole series, which is the calendar. So this is the calendar that we are going to learn how to build from scratch. So don't skip any of the next videos. However, I do have the solution complete, and if you want the solution right away without having to look through the whole video, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll make sure to link everything in the description. You'll find the link for the previous video as well as a way to reach out to me. And if you want videos on some other topic, do leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.